This is my favorite rogue build of all time. It has massive speed, insane clear, big stonks, and of course, the biggest explosions out there. Oh, and perhaps best of all, it requires absolutely nothing to get started. I'm just rocking random dogshit gear, and still, I'm dealing trillions upon trillions of damage. So, let's check out how you too, my good old brain-dead dad gamer, can get this build online. The first thing you're gonna do is get yourself an eagle horn. This is what this build relies on, pretty much entirely. It allows you to stop shooting blanks and get some proper penetrating shots that not only bounce, but also deals way more damage. So, that's your priority number one. The next thing you're gonna want is the Spellbound Steel Charm set, because in this one, we'll rely on imbuement potency and having all the 3 different imbuements up at once to deal damage, solve resources, and, well, have some good fun, because it just looks cooler. And the last and final thing you want to take the build to the next level is the Cowl of the Nameless, because this not only allows your imbuements to trigger even more big-ass explosions, but it also boosts your imbuements to the fucking moon. And that's important, because while we are indeed using all 3 imbuements, our main source of damage will be coming from our poison imbuement, allowing us to stack up trillions of damage over time. Alright, and when it comes to the rest of the gear, let's check it out, shall we? In the planner, I'll have a few different variants. For now, I'm adding a speed variant for ultimate speed farming, a pushing variant with more damage but at the expense of speed, and a mythic variant. Now we'll focus on the speed variant along with the pushing variant, as they're largely the same. For your helmet, you're really just looking for a lot of defenses, and then slotting in the Taman Rune combo. This will, when paired with the buffered battery passive for our cold imbuement, ensure that we always have a barrier up for pretty much our whole life pool, essentially doubling our defenses. And defenses is a massive issue this league for all builds, so we take what we can get. If you want even more defenses, then you can also have your Cowl of the Nameless as your unique charm. But it would be much more ideal to have a mythic seal instead and rock 2 different sets here. I don't have one, but I'll include that setup in the planner if you have it. To cover up your big old titties, grab a regular chest with just loads of defenses. Dex, max life, all resistances and armor is what you're looking for, along with grabbing the Igni and Vex rune combo for damage, because this double dips as it grants ranks for both your penetrating shot, which in turn boosts poison imbuement, and then it also grants poison imbuement ranks which, well, again boosts poison imbuement. For transfiguration, I'm looking for poison damage or a lot of quality, but I haven't really gotten any good ones yet, as I'm just trying out different builds. Oh well. And as aspect, grab debilitating toxins for damage reduction. For your gloves, these ones are absolutely perfect. And as aspect, we're using Malice, as we'll always keep up vulnerable, and we'll get knocked down from concealment, along with benefiting from knockdown on bosses. As pantaloons, we again look for dex, life, armor, and all resistances. These ones are complete dogshit, but I was too tilted after bricking them to replace them, so I'll keep using them for the remaining of the season. For aspect, slap on the disobedience aspect, and we'll check out the sneakers. These are pretty fucking bonkers, honestly. Look for movement speed, dex, and defenses. I also managed to hit attack speed here via transfiguration, making these pretty damn nice. And as aspect, we'll get overpower stacks via our imbuements. To this aspect grants us 20% damage at all times. Alright, and then we get to the eagle horn. Now, I may or may not have been piss drunk, and forgot to temper this weapon. And I may have gotten mad, bought this other eagle horn, and forgot to add sockets to it. I'll let you decide if this happened or not. Either way, you're looking for dex, damage over time, as this has the highest roll and should be your main priority, along with max life and penetrating shot ranks. You can also replace the max life with poison damage, but I'd much rather have the added defense. Then, of course, don't forget to add sockets so you don't miss out on the poison gems. For your other two weapons, we are looking for essentially the same stats, but we're also not forgetting to temper imbuement potency here. For aspect, I'm using neurotoxic and imitated imbuement for extra damage. Another option is to use Etna's here, but I'm using it as a charm to make room for an extra aspect instead. Alright, and lastly, the jewelry. Firstly, I have my magnificently bricked amulet. You're looking for damage over time as your main prio, followed by vulnerable damage, dex, and skill ranks to all skills. I had the perfect amulet here, but the game decided to remove my vulnerable damage and added shadow damage instead. Fuck you, game. You also want to add this aspect for your Culean transfiguration. To do this, just keep transfigurating your amulet with Culean tuning prisms until you hit it. And as its imprinted aspect, use the writhing aspect for massive damage over time. When it comes to the rings, we're looking for more damage over time, followed by poison damage, max life, and dex. You also really want one life on hit somewhere, either here or on one of your one-handers, ensuring you're always topped off on life. You also have some really nice transfigurations you can hit here, like poison damage of course, but also dex, all ranks, and more. I'm also a big fan of cooldown reduction for more speed and higher uptime on our shadow clone. And as aspects, the conceited aspect and crushing echo are always up, so we go with those. Also, another super important thing is if you are using my speed variant, then you want to temper with lucky hit, chance to restore resources, because we will be spending way more resources in that setup than the push variant. Great job, friends. Gear complete. Let's check out the charms next. As mentioned, we are going for the Spellbound Steel set here, as it's not far from the same damage as the other sets, but it provides such a massive quality of life, getting all of the different imbuements and their bonuses for free. For their stats, you want imbuement ranks preferably, but marksman or core skill ranks are also fantastic, and then you just go with resistances. As seal, I'm using a seal with an extra charm slot, so I can slot in Etna's here. If you don't have one, then just use Etna's as a dagger instead of using it here. And if you have a mythic seal, then grab the option in the mythic planner setup. Next, as a specialization, we're using Inner Calm to help solve resources and for higher uptime on our charm set. The added crit chance will also provide some extra damage for our poison imbuement. And as mercenary, Subo's the fucking man with his aimbot, along with using the Molotovs for added damage over time. For reinforcement, we use Raher for his defensive bastion. Good stuff. Next, let's hop on over to the skill tree and see what the hell is going on over there. The basic skills can eat a wet fart. Instead, we max out penetrating shot. We also grab ferocity for extra damage, along with damage increase. Then, you have two options. If you're pushing, farming bosses or whatever, then you go for ballista, as you'll deal much more damage. It reduces your clear though, so for speed farming, go with shadow shot for extra projectiles. Trick shot just feels a bit underwhelming, but it works too. In the agility tree, we grab dash for mad speed, grabbing weaken to instantly weaken enemies, shadow play for more cooldown reduction, and charges and cooldown for charges and cooldown. In the subterfuge tree, we find Dark Shroud, which we want maxed out, along with movement speed for movement speed. Not the most interesting names of these passives, We then have Shadow Dancer for defenses, along with Consume Charge for a lower chance of having them removed. For our concealment, we'll have it as our main source of Unstoppable, but we also gain some energy here when needed, a knockdown, along with it being our main source of Fortify, and even more Unstoppable. In the imbuement tree, we get all of these passives for free, so we just need the main passives. There are a lot of good shit here. We gain Overpower, Ferocity, Energy, Resolve, Vulnerable, and Cooldown Reduction. For cold imbuement, we get Buffered Battery for a barrier. For shadow imbuement, we get Shadow Play for a large chunk of AoE damage, and for our poison imbuement, we want Toxic Touch for extra potency. Next, head down to the ultimates and grab Shadow Clone. I don't have enough cooldown reduction to have this up permanently, but it's up for at least most of the time. Ideally, though, it'd be up permanently. Either way, it grants us a lot of extra damage and clear, along with some extra Unstoppable when cast and generating Ferocity. We also grab Cooldown here for extra cooldown reduction. Hey, nice job. You managed to stay for this long? Or perhaps you just skipped to this part because I put a timestamp here. Yeah, am I right? Fuck you. You don't even deserve to see the Perragons. All right, fine. I'm not gonna hide this magnificent piece from the world just because you're a lazy bastard. In the starting board, we grab Versatility for 25% imbuement damage, along with boosting the nearby damage nodes by a lot. In the next board, we have Cheap Shot, a lovely node granting 100% increased damage as it's always up, and we sock it in Bane for more poison damage. For the rare nodes here, I'd prioritize the max life ones first, followed by resistances and armor, and lastly, damage, because you'll have more than you'll ever need of that one. For our third board, we go for Eldritch Bounty for both damage and defenses. It's probably my least favorite board in the entire game due to how they've placed the nodes here, but the bonuses are just too good to pass on. I also socket in Canny here for extra non-physical damage. Next, we chuck a UA, head on over to Bumfuck Nowhere and grab Exploit Weakness for damage and defenses as well. We then want Efficacy for more imbuement potency, while also boosting these great rare nodes. And lastly, we go to grab Dance Macabre and socket in Tracker for more poison damage. Goddamn, man. You still here? Good job. It's almost like you're not a toddler with severe ADHD. As a treat, I'll show you how to play the build. When it comes to our skills, it depends a bit on whether you play the speed variant or the pushing variant. For the pushing variant, you'll use these skills. For speed, though, you'll replace Dark Shroud with Shadow Step for more mobility, and then you'll use the Mott Rune instead of Vex, so you generate Dark Shrouds automatically. That, along with swapping your ring and a penetrating shot passive, is how the two builds differ. Now, what is the same is the rest of our skills. You'll use Dash for mobility, and ideally dash through enemies, as you'll then reduce its cooldown. Concealment you use whenever it's up, as it'll knock enemies down and provide you with Unstoppable. The same goes for Dark Shroud, Poison Imbuement, and Shadow Clone. Just use them when they're up. Then all you need to do is spam the penetrating shot button. Ideally, try to stay away from enemies. There's really no need to stay close in this build, other than dying unnecessarily, that is. So just go hide in a corner somewhere and shoot enemies at range if you can. Other than that, though, There's not much to it. Just keep deleting content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.